Hey, this is Matteo Lane.
I'm Emma Willman.
And this is Inside the Closet.
Inside the Closet. We're back with another episode. I am Emma Willman.
I'm Matteo Lane.
And today we sit down with Matteo's, well, not sit down, we talk with Matteo's friend Henry Koperski, who joins us. Matteo is still in Montreal. I'm chiming in from New York, and Matteo and I get to catch up. Matteo's under the weather. He's saving his voice. He's did an hour of singing, and he's doing another hour tonight. So we get to catch up about how Montreal is for him. I had I don't know what we would call it, a personal dilemma. What would we call that, Matteo, that I get into with my...
Sure, a dilemma.
A dilemma.
And then I talk about performing for gay audiences, and then we answer some questions.
We answer some questions. Some questions about, well, I guess you guys will have to find out by listening. Here it is. Okay, hey, how you doing?
I'm doing really well. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you so crystal clear.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, I'm doing great. I'm sitting in bed, as per usual.
You were sick for a little while, right?
Yeah, I'm not quite over it. I'm still a little under the weather, to tell you the truth.
But I'm glad you're doing well.
Yeah, I had my show last night, my barber show, where I sing. I shouldn't even be talking right now because I should be on vocal rest because my voice is very tired.
Oh boy.
But I have to sing for an hour and a half tonight.
Are you singing all covers?
Yeah, it's all Streisand covers, like when she wasn't famous yet.
That's so funny. Do you dress up like her?
Yeah. No, that's so funny that everybody asks that, but I guess it makes sense.
It's just because drag is such a big thing right now, I guess.
Hold on. Oh, hi, Henry. My friend Henry, who's staying with me, is here. I'm doing my podcast, Henry. So
sounds like you're talking to a dog.
There. Yeah, I'm recording right now. This is so professional. But yeah, I'm here, and I don't know. My schedule's so confusing and all over the place. I feel like I'm back in New York.
Yeah, my schedule is got real weird too because of stuff in LA. But also, when this comes out, they release the date when Matteo and I will have our Netflix comedy lineup air, August 31st.
August 31st.
August 31st. I think Matteo looks great in his picture. I want to say the picture of me that's used for the promo is actually the worst picture of myself I've ever seen. I was actually shocked. I said, "Wow, that is the worst." I look like Ellen's little brother that's selling dentures. That's what it looks like.
Well, you know what's worse than not having a picture is not being a part of it at all.
Oh my God. So grateful. Love the whole thing. So fun, the entire thing.
I look like I'm wearing a fucking toupee. I look at myself and I'm like, wow.
I thought your picture was really good. It maybe looked like your head was shrunk a little bit, but.
Emma, I'm wearing a full-on toupee. I look like Stan from the Golden Girls. I was shaved my head specifically where I'm going to bald and then threw on a toupee.
Oy vey. Wow, still.
But, I'm also happy to be involved. I
totally.
On Twitter when we tweeted it that someone was like, is there going to be jokes? And then
what do you think that was?
On the lineup came back with something. I was like, no, it's a baking show. And you're like, I'm going to do interpretive dance.
Do you think that was a shot at Nanette, or what was that guy doing? Just being a hater?
I don't care.
It's so weird how many people
being a hater.
Yeah, and so many people that take issue with the Nanette special. It's because so many people love it, and then some people are hating on it. It's okay, either way, stop saying that. It's just weird when people have sometimes the reaction is okay, maybe you're mad about something more than what you're seeing in the special. Maybe this is triggering some kind of underlying homophobe, because it's if you don't like something, just be okay, I don't like it, it's not for me. But you don't have to be I fucking some people are so mad about it. It's okay, maybe this is about something more than you not liking the special.
Well, a lot of comics reviews have been, I like it, but is it comedy? That's up for debate. So that's
totally.
the big debate about it.
And that's fair.
I've kind of taken this role after the past week thinking about it. I was like, you know what? At the end, remember how she was saying, why are we assigning gender to children? It's so much pressure for them. And part of me thinks, why are we trying to categorize everything? You know what? How about it just is what it is? And if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. We don't have to have this giant existential conversation about what comedy is and what it isn't. There's something for everyone. And if this is something that someone likes and it makes them feel good, or it's something that they can relate to, then good.
Right.
And if a comedy special that's more Joan Rivers or Dave Chappelle, or there's something for everybody out there, and we have to stop like putting everything in a box, because even the comedy you and I are doing, I'm sure people don't consider comedy just because we're gay.
I don't consider it
so
comedy.
It's like, who are we to judge, you know?
Right. I think sometimes it makes people get a little bit nervous too, because then they're like, oh, is this, it's like when people build things up to be like more than, they're like, is this going to change everything? What does this mean for me? And then people, existential, good word choice.
Look, art is always changing, but the fundamental, like paintings always change, right? You have from realism to post-impressionism to impressionism to abstract expressionism to, cubism to surrealism. But at the end, at the base
I
of it,
cheated
they're
in
still
art
using
history.
paint. But the base of it, they're still using a paint and a brush.
Right.
And so comedy is going to evolve. Comedy is going to change. It's going to change, but the base of it will still be someone's laughing. So,
I had the most fun
comedy
show.
wants to evolve, I'm sure it'll evolve.
And
this should be so.
I had the most fun show in Portsmouth, New Hampshire this past weekend. It was like it made up for my feeling about stuff in Mohegan Sun. Like it was just such a nice, because first of all, I had a show on Friday in Portland, Maine. So then that was so fucking bizarre, because I'm from Maine. So all like these friends and like people I knew from high school, and a lot of them listen to the podcast. So shout out to them. It meant so much to me too, because it was such like all these different parts of like my high school were there, including my ex-boyfriend Tony, which when I saw him, I was like, Tony, like, I was just talking about how I gave you blowjobs, and he was like, ah! And I met his new girlfriend, and she was like actually super attractive. Like, it was just so funny. And then
she was also a lesbian.
She was hot.
Like,
no,
oh, hello, Emma.
Yeah, right.
Nice
I've been like, what the hell? But my dad and stepmom were there, and my step-grandmother and her new boyfriend. So it was just like a really, really funny mix of people. And the show was fine. It was fine. It was funny. But then the show the next night in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, it sold out. It's like the first time I've sold something out before. So I got like the bonus on that. And it was just like really like fun. And I'd been there the year before too. Like this room, the Music Hall Loft in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, they book all different kinds of acts. So it's like a little, it's not a theater space, but it's kind of like set up like that. But there's no opener, there's no host. It's not a comedy club, so it's just a performance venue. So
it's in the back of an Arby's.
No, it's like I guess it would. I wonder how many people. I don't exactly know how many people it fits, but the seating is great. Like everything is really well done in there. But you just go up, and I just went up, and they had me do an hour, and it was just so. And I knew my phone wasn't recording.
Do you go up and do an hour, or do you not?
I do not. I thought about it like when I first started doing colleges. And I think it was Nick Turner gave me this, who's a comedian. He gave me this really good trick, because him and I were doing a college together, and we were each supposed to do an hour. We both, when we got there, we said to the kids, because we're two comedians doing an hour, that's too long a show. So when we got there,
too much.
The kids were like, how much time do you want to do? And we both looked at each other and looked at them and went, half an hour? And they were like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
And they're like, are you sure that's okay with you guys? You don't want to each do the hour? And we were like, we'll forfeit it this time. And they're like, cool. I remember that show too, because before I went on, this girl goes,
what's the trick he taught you?
Oh, this is the trick. He puts his phone on, he writes his notes, like the sets on his phone, and then he would put it on dim. So then when he looks at, other people can't see it, but then when he looks directly down at it, he can see the notes in the phone.
So you do use notes?
No, I don't do that, but that's a trick he told me.
Oh.
I don't do that.
I actually I get on a sheet of paper and I write down every single joke that I'm going to do. And then I just put it on the stool.
Yeah,
because,
I thought about it.
I felt like at first, like not doing that, because everyone's like, you shouldn't do that. But then I watched Joan Rivers, and she, till she died, had written notes all over the stage.
That's interesting.
So I was like, well, if Joan Rivers can do it, then I can do it.
And you only do it if you're doing an hour?
Yeah, if I'm doing a half hour or less, no. If I'm doing a half hour or more, yeah, I do.
So for 45 minutes, you do it?
Yeah.
Now,
if I do 45 minutes, like 5 times in a row, by the third time I don't need it.
Right.
But the first 2 times I do.
That's interesting.
I'm sure it's not professional, but
no, I think
whatever.
it is. I
Who
think
cares?
also it's more productive for you too. I think because it's like then you're not gonna like miss something. You know what I mean?
Can I tell you about my show? Because I did my solo show last night.
Yes, please. I want to hear all about it, and I've got a doozy of a story for you too.
Henry Koperski and I did our Barbara Streisand show, where I basically just sing all her old songs. And we did it at this venue. And at first, JFL was like, well, we can have you guys do it like at an outside venue. And I was like, well, that's like, it's not a passerby type show. Like, it's a full show. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I was like, no, that's okay. And then they're like, oh, no, we found a venue like called Cafe Clio. And we're like, great. So we did it at Cafe Clio, and it seats about 140.
Now, what does Henry do? He
We
plays piano, or what does he do?
Piano, yeah, music conductor, writer, like everything.
Nice.
And we were like, oh, God, I hope people come to this show.
Of course.
And it ended up being sold out, so 140
Yay!
tickets.
That's amazing.
And it was just the best show ever. Henry, do you want to come talk to us about the show? Yeah. Come over here.
Who was in the audience? Was it mostly gay men?
It was 100% gay men.
That's so funny.
This is Henry, everybody.
Hi, Henry. How you doing?
I'm great, Emma. Thank you.
Have we met before, Henry?
I'm sorry.
What did you say, Emma?
Henry, have we met before?
We met at Littlefield one time. It was briefly.
Yes, we did. I remember. Yep. I remember. You
were great.
Henry, tell us about the show last night.
The show was truly magical. Matteo was at his best. And it was such a unique thing. You could tell the audience was mesmerized because they've been seeing stand-up, which is the best. But then to see Matteo, sing so incredibly, he's speaking all the languages. He's just off the cuff doing. It was just he was on fire.
I love that.
Way.
And I sat in the chair the whole time because I thought I hurt my knee, so I thought I would just sit in the chair and kind of do a concessions tour.
Oh, I love that. That's so great.
Yeah, and now Henry's in this Airbnb with me, which I think we now live in Montreal.
I think it's so great. I think it's so great when it's all gay men at something. It's for it's like something about it is really powerful.
Yeah, it can be the most powerful, wonderful thing or the most destructive thing too.
It's so true.
Well,
lesbians are a little more neutral. Gay men are it's either the most wonderful or
straight audiences every single night, which is great. But then, when you walk into a room full of gay men, it really is a big sigh of relief.
It's like coming home. And that's what it is. It's you don't have to build. And it's such a relief when you don't have to build that bridge all the fucking time to be it's just, they're just already there. So you can just go into it. And it's not only are they already there, they're a lot of times feeling the same way about you. And this is so great. I don't know if you felt this, Henry, before, but Matteo's talked a lot about how performing for gay men in the past was more bristly, but now you love it. So I think that's a real evolution in, I don't know, self-acceptance, or what do you think
it is?
Did you think
porn for gay men?
Say it again?
Did you say porn for gay men?
I said performing for gay men.
Oh, I thought you said porn for gay men, and I was like, wait, Emma, what?
No, performing for gay men. Performing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I remember Matteo used to say how much he gay audiences don't like me, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
And, the whole Sam Smith phenomenon. But now, Matteo, I think, you figured it out. Or gay people have come around. I don't know. But
I think, you know what it is? I think it's when you're, maybe I'm a little more known now to gay people, so people follow me and then want to come see me.
Yes, and gay men respond well. Gay men respond, when I was at the GLAAD Awards, this Broadway actor, I mentioned Matteo, and he was like, oh my God, I love him. I think he's the voice of a generation. And I was I literally was would you want to say that into my phone? And he was like, ha 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 ha. But I was just it'd be good to I was I'll pass it on. I was but you should say that into my phone and I'll send it. And he just thought I was kidding. And I was all right, whatever. But it was just.
Well, let me just quickly say my evolution with it.
Please.
I don't want to skip over this. And I just think that when I first started comedy, it's hard to go into these gay rooms because we're not used to seeing gay men do comedy in a lot of ways. Gay men see more often women or drag queens or,
right.
So Brad Lockley and other few gay men have been doing it for a long time who are total professionals.
Hilarious.
They know how to handle it. I wasn't able to. I was too scared. I was oh God, are they going to hate me? This and that, But now that, because I think maybe I'm a little more out there, and then there's Joel Booster and there's Julio Torres and James Adomian and so forth. I think it's we're getting used to the fact of seeing gay men do comedy. It's almost like when gays first started watching RuPaul's Drag Race. We didn't know, some didn't really know how to handle it. You were kind of wait, what? And now it's we've gotten over that internalized homophobia, and we are embracing it in every way, shape, and form. And it's like, you know, maybe I'm making it, Henry, does this make any sense?
I think it's also you feeling more comfortable too, because now I feel super comfortable. I used to be like, oh my God, lesbians are going to see right through me, and then they're going to think I'm not or I feel like almost like annoyed at them, because I wanted to be like, it was when I was doing all these colleges, I'm like, I'm out there in the middle of, you know, rural America doing shows and at colleges, and then I felt like lesbians thought that I wasn't like, you know, catering to them enough. But then I was like, well, I'm actually out there like in front of like getting into places that you guys aren't getting access to, and it's hard, which is all my own shit. So then now that I'm like much more comfortable with it, like sometimes it does bother me, like but I love now, like lesbians, it's like fun. Like if there's like cute feminine ones, it'd make me more nervous, but I can't tell the cute feminine ones you can't usually tell are gay.
Well, last night there was a group of, I swear to you, hot Instagram gays, like all in the front row.
Hubba
and I
hubba.
was like, good Lord. I was like, you guys are all so, like, it was like, I was like, they're ready for their Instagram photo. I mean, they were all like, it was so shocking to me.
That's amazing.
But, I think you're right. I think I'm like more comfortable with myself, and a lot of it was my own shit.
Totally.
And now that I'm over it, I feel, I look at gay audiences like a giant sigh of relief. Like
I agree.
A celebration.
Emma, do you get to perform for predominantly lesbian audiences often?
No, I don't, actually, not at all. But it's funny, recently lesbians have been coming out more, and like I feel like that means a lot to me, because I feel like I don't really come
and you
from...
know how hard it is to get lesbians out of the house
Holler.
after 8 p.m.
Seriously. Well, for the lesbians, we do a 6 p.m. show, but this is the lesbian men. But we do.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever been in a room full, like, that's been less than 5% lesbian.
The older lesbians are incredible. Like, the older lesbians at the show in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, there's this lesbian couple up front. They were so cute. And I did the joke about a girl wanted to get hit in the face. And then they turned and looked at each other and they were whispering. And I go, are you explaining to one what hitting in the faces during sex? And they go, well, no, we just know that you're exaggerating. That's not true. That doesn't happen. And I go, it does happen. It happens like 1 out of 13 girls that I like to get hit in the face in New York, 1 out of probably 5. And then they like whisper to each other. And then I was like, now what are you guys whispering? And they go, well, we just remembered that when we go to Long Island, the lesbians there are into some really far out stuff. So it must be those Long Island lesbians. And
oh my God.
These two lesbians had been together for, like, they said they'd been together like 30 something years, but it was just, older lesbians are so cute. And then I'd noticed, actually, I would get like a really positive reaction from like women of color lesbians, because I did like a couple shows with that, or like that would be, but the ones where it would be the toughest would be, or who would come up afterwards and say they enjoyed it, the toughest would be young white lesbians. But now they've kind of come around, but it's been like, I could probably count on a hand the amount of time that it's been predominantly lesbians. Predominantly gay men has happened a few times, but one time was in Cancun, and it was all gay men that like were probably like 50 and up, and it was the cutest. It was so fucking, it was wonderful.
You mean you weren't booed at an AIDS event for calling Britney Spears Weekend at Bernie's in Vegas?
I still don't know why you said that though.
Because they were so mad at me because they wanted me to perform stand-up in a jock strap. That's what they said.
Right,
so,
which
like,
is harassment.
If you put on a jock strap, and I was like, oh, so you won't celebrate your own community, but you'll support that Weekend at Bernie's in Vegas, Britney Spears, the boobs. I'll never forget the boobs.
Tyler thinks that's hilarious.
The sound of 200 gay men booing you.
So they booed you? Like they actually audibly booed?
Yes, I was supposed to do 15 minutes. I did like 6 and walked off, screaming, I'm sure you're all Masc tops, but I've been watching you mince and prance around here for the past 15 minutes. Fuck you.
Matteo.
And then the strippers looked at me like I made the wrong choice in life.
Right. God, does it ever. So do you guys have any more Barbara shows coming up, or did you guys, was it just the one last night?
We have our show tonight. We have one more show, and I really have to be careful because I'm talking and my voice is not great.
Well,
I don't know why I'm talking right now.
I can tell you guys a crazy story.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Henry, do you have a boyfriend?
No, I'm single.
Nice.
Everyone on Instagram thinks he's hot and wants to marry him.
Holler. What kind of guys do you like?
I like kind of everything. I'm not like seeking at all right now. Right now, the most important thing to me, I think I want someone older and wiser.
So he's going for Merlin.
Yeah, I was going to say Dumbledore, same thing.
Do you like, so when people say that, when they're like, oh, I don't have a type, like that means that, like they are into like versatile, like verse people? Like I want more of a bottom.
Actually, but yeah, I am versatile. But no, as far as type, I truly mean like I'm open to any type of man or person, really. I'm even open to like women, honestly. Not that it's not likely, but I truly like.
Good for you.
I'm in a place where I'm like, show me universe.
Well, I got to tell you guys this. I didn't even get a chance to tell this to Matteo. I was doing this like prayer, like turn it over to the universe. I don't want to be in control anymore. Like I just want to like get out of my own way and turn it over. And then that night I got some news where I got like cut from something. And I was like, okay, universe, like I said I'd trust you, whatever. And then in the past 2 days I figured out that I actually didn't get cut and got more than I thought from the thing. So I was like, because it's like when you turn it over, it's, at least for me, I'll be like, I want something good right now. Like, okay, universe.
Yeah.
And then it's like presented, and then it does it, and you're like, never mind, it doesn't work. But then when you actually like surrender and are kind of like, okay, and then maybe it's not what you want, and you're like still like, okay, and then it does pop up. Or maybe it doesn't, but that's the whole point of being open to the universe, isn't being like, and then here comes Prince Charming. It's like, okay, I'm really going to see what you have to pop up. So we don't know who will be at the show tonight.
Probably more Instagram gays coming for Henry.
Yeah. Well, Matteo had this friend of Patty's. We had this friend of Patty's on named Mike, who was like, oh my God, he was so amazing. We did the episode about like tops versus bottoms. It was a debate. It was really funny.
Which we still have to have a live debate about that. We were debating whether is it harder to be a bottom. All right, let's see if Henry can answer this because he's versed. Is it harder? And this is all encompassing. Is it harder to be a top? Or is it harder to be a bottom? No pun intended.
It's more work to be a bottom.
Oh, get out of here. What are you guys talking about?
How do you...
It's just not, that's
you know what, my friend Taylor put it best.
No.
Bottoming is like going to the grocery store, getting the Thanksgiving dinner, preparing the Thanksgiving dinner, feeding the Thanksgiving dinner, and then
then you guys are with some shitty, lazy tops, because when I'm topping, I'm like running a movie production. I'm like flipping the person around. I'm fucking you with this. I'm fucking you with that. I'm like orchestrating this. Get over here. Get over there. Bend over this. I'm like wiggling it all around. And if I was like a penis top, first of all, you got to like not have the penis tops and not have yourself. I'm doing everything. The bottom I would think about the bottom. You're literally on the bottom getting fucked.
That is true. I guess like when it's actually happening, yeah, the top has more to do. But the prep is like, the prep's not fun.
Right. The prep for gay men is not. I was talking to someone who told me about this new medical procedure.
You know what the prep is for bottom or for tops is like, oh, I'm hard. There,
totally. You guys are 100% right about that. So the physical prep is different. And then lesbians, that's like different. But I was talking to this guy. Someone told me that there's this new procedure that doctors can do. I don't want to really grow. Well, it's where it's like they have something where they rewire the tube so the tube comes out like a poop bag in the stomach, so then the ass is always clean, so the person can always get fucked.
What?
Yeah, it's like $40,000.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, you know what? That's not a new procedure. My dad had that when he had vasculitis. He almost died, and he was in the hospital for 7 months, and they cut his intestines, and they had a colostomy bag. Is it a colostomy bag?
It is. Yes. Yeah.
No, this was I forget what it's called, but it's basically a bag that comes out of your stomach, and then your shit goes in there, collects in there, and then you dump it out. But it's for like people who are dying. But
now they have it. I guess some people are doing it so they can just like don't have to do that prep.
Now, how much are you bottoming that you're getting surgery to have your intestines come out of
just the right amount? That's the little wife for me.
Just the right amount.
Just the right amount. I've embraced it.
What's the story you're going to tell?
Okay.
What's the story you're going to tell?
I have two stories for you guys. One.
I'm sitting up straight.
But they're both ridiculous. So, okay. One maybe I'll save for Patreon. I think I'm going to save one of them for Patreon. Okay, this one was...
Yeah, save it for the Patreon because people should be...
Do you guys want to hear the funny one that's like funny but me being ridiculous, or do you want the more like dramatic one?
I want the funny one. We'll
Okay.
go for the drama on Patreon.
So this is funny, and this is completely like ridiculous of me. So this is ridiculous. So one of my best friends from home, who I love, works in the city, and then whenever I've like referred someone to her, to, like the business that she works in is one that like a lot of people want to work in. Let's say she works in fashion. So anytime I know someone that's interested in fashion, then I'll have them meet up with her, and she's been so generous about just like getting coffee or whatever with people. And then she sent me a couple people that want to get into comedy, and like I've not followed through with meeting up. So last week she was like, she was meeting up with a buddy of mine, and then I was like, oh my God, she's met up with like 4 people for me. Hey, who's the person you wanted me to meet up with? I'll hit them up right now. So she's like, this is her name. I text the girl. She's like, oh, I'll come to your show tonight. Great. So the show I was doing was like this like more urban show at Gotham. And I get there, I'm like, oh, I don't know what the girl looks like. Now. The girl is so nice, but it was a man, one lesbian. Really nice, right? And then all of a sudden I felt self-conscious because I was like, oh my God. And this has nothing to do with the girl, who was absolutely awesome. We had so much fun. Like, she's like super talented. It was really fun. All of a sudden I was like, oh my God, everyone's going to think we're a couple. So as we go in, I could feel it in the way people were like, Emma, oh, hey, oh, it's so good to meet you. Oh, you brought your friend. And then when I go down the show, like the people were like really trying to like, be like, oh, that's what's up. Like, okay, like cool, good for you. And in my head, I was cooking because I didn't want anyone thinking that I was with a more man one lesbian. And it looked like a first date because we didn't know each other. So it was like, so where are you from? I'm from here. Where are you from? Like, we're getting to know each other, but it looked like we were on a date. And then I felt like so, like, I literally wanted to go back the next day and be like, just so everyone knows, I date feminine women. But what the fuck is wrong with me? Like, I literally wanted to email someone and be like, and like this poor girl who's like, she's awesome. She's absolutely awesome. Like, she's great. She couldn't be sweeter. Super cute. But I swear to God, like, I've been going into Gotham Comedy Club now for years. So I know the security guys. I know the manager there. I know the GM. I know the waitstaff. All of them are like there's this one point where her and I are like sitting next to each other, like, you know, talking. He walks by, he sees me, says hi, keeps going, sees her, stops, come back. Oh, it's so nice to meet you. Thank you so much for coming. He thought it was my girlfriend. And so I'm like cooking over there. I'm like cooking because I didn't want anyone to think I was with a man, one lesbian. What is that called?
I think Emma reminds me of like
I have a problem, right?
Like,
and then I was
what's the character?
And then I was
gonna have a problem.
No, and then I said to my friend, so I didn't say this to my friend. I was gonna mess with my friend and be like, "Oh, you did? I'm surprised you didn't give me a heads up. It was a man, one lesbian." You know, I couldn't say that to her because she'd be like, "That's like fucking ridiculous. Like, are you in? Like, she's not gonna say that. Like, that's ridiculous. You know what I mean? Like, it's totally inappropriate." And I have plenty of man, one lesbian friends.
I need some, like, a glossary definition of you man something lesbian? What?
Like a lesbian who's really butch.
Yeah.
Oh, and you're saying you don't want people to think that
she's with a butch woman.
Oh,
she's the man, is what Emma
Yeah,
says.
but this butch woman was super pretty in the face. She was really pretty, so nice, and absolutely awesome. So this is someone would be honored to be with.
Describing her like I'm literally imagining like an elephant's foot with a face.
No, she's actually beautiful. She's great. This is so it wasn't that. Like, anyone would be honored if someone is more attracted to more masculine women. This woman is for you. Like, she's super cute, super nice, funny, adorable, very pretty face. So this is not. It's purely just me. But it seemed like a date because we were meeting for the first time. Did you not like
it because you felt like you were more effeminate around her? Emma
yes,
like
Matteo. That is actually part of what it was because I'm working on my femininity, Henry, because it's the lesbian Hunger Games out here. In case you haven't noticed, every goddamn lesbian and their mother is getting into stand-up comedy. So they're all going butcher. They're all becoming roly-poly lumberjacks. I'm out here working out, getting my hair done. So I'm showed up in a V-neck because I'm in it to win it in this show business. So,
I mean, the thought process of Emma is mind-boggling. Like, none of this would have ever occurred to me. I
didn't want to let internalized homophobia win because, like, right when we meet up, she's so nice. She's like, "Hi," and right when we meet up, I was like, and like it was like red alert, like man one lesbian. And I was like, right when we walk in and we're like making the small talk, looking like we're meeting up on a date, and we got there an hour early.
Emma, you sound a little bit like your mother.
Really?
Like,
but my mom's not homophobic.
No, you're not homophobic either. I'm just saying, like, I'm seeing like some parallel thinking between you and your mom.
So you want people to perceive you as a masculine person.
Mm-hmm.
Got it. What was that response, Emma?
No, yeah, exactly.
Got it.
So then
and
I
you
just
think you thought she was more masked than you.
I would say in that instance, I had the V-neck. She's prettier, actually. Like, she's absolutely adorable.
Mm-hmm.
But the way we were dressed that night, I would say it was about equal.
What, were you in like a welder's like apron? Like, what were you wearing?
Well, she's totally adorable, actually.
So do you have a crush on her?
No.
Are you single, Emma?
I started seeing someone it's been so magical. It's so fucking weird because I had been in these like really I actually, to be totally honest with you guys, I feel like I haven't had a girlfriend for a long time because my last girlfriend that in my heart, that I like let into my heart, was someone from like 3 years ago who wasn't in the business. Then I lived with someone that was in entertainment, and that's what the story is about that I'm gonna tell on Patreon. And then I like dated a couple other people. One of them I got super infatuated with, this Canadian, like, who we've all heard about. But this one is like, she's really nice. She's just really like kind to me and nice, and she's really interesting.
She's good energy.
She's good energy.
She's smart. She's good energy. She's an art therapist.
Yeah, she's really upfront.
She's a lesbian. She's a total lesbian.
Yeah, but the sex is actually amazing. I haven't had sex. It's incredible. Like, it's so fun. And she's just so nice. I saw her on Sunday. She made me a bunch of vegetables.
Wow.
I know.
How'd you meet her?
We met on Tinder, and I wasn't going to go on the date. I remember being like, I don't want to go on the date. I was like tired out from the Canadian, and then I wasn't going to go on the date.
Didn't I tell you to go on the date? Or did
you
I
told
say
me
not to?
Nope. You and Carly both said to go on the date. I was kind of like, and my friend Kate said to go on the date. I was just like kind of, I remember just like kind of like laying in bed. I was like reading some self-help book. Like, I'm going to cancel. And then I had talked to each one of you people. You got each one of you people. Each one of you guys at one point. And you were all like, I think you should do it. You're thinking of the date when I went out more recently.
Yeah, that was with the actress.
Yes. And who was that? That girl was awesome. Like, I think if I hadn't just started seeing the art therapist, I'd want to explore that. But I think that there's something with this art therapist here. It makes me feel really nice. And that's one thing that scares me is like the addict in me. I'm like, the addict in me, like, I could see, because there's no chaos there. It's just nice. She follows through. Actually, her and I were on the Bennington show yesterday.
Together?
Here's what happened. So I ran into Ron Bennington, who's like a radio god. He's friends with Matteo too. Like, he's awesome. He's been so nice to both of us. I ran into him at the Cellar, and he's like, "Are you dating anyone?" I was like, I mentioned the art therapist, and he was like, "What's art therapy?" And I was like, like therapy with art. And he was like, he's knows about it. So
I still don't know how I feel about art therapy. Like, as an artist, I'm not sure. Like,
well, you got to have, so how it is, it's all talk therapy. And then they give you certain prompts. Like, say, like, there was something you were having a hard time explaining, then they would have you like draw it and then like talk about how you feel and like different like components.
But then if you don't know how to draw, then it'd be like, oh, this is even harder. Why don't you just explain to me what you're saying because you don't know how to draw?
You know, you're too black and white about it.
Yeah, they do. They do like prompts and stuff. I can't explain it as well, but Ron was asking me all these questions, and I was like, I don't really know. And he was like, well, would she ever want to come on the show? And I was like, probably not.
I had an aunt who did like action figure or doll therapy, like in sandboxes, and like
wait,
use,
what?
Like, dolls to represent. Like, I know. And
was this a certification?
She looked at my Star Wars action figures, and she was like, oh, these would be good for therapy. I'm like, really? You want someone to hold Bib Fortuna and Princess Leia and like explain their life family problems together?
Wait, was this something she was certified in, or was she just kind of doing it off the cuff?
I mean, I would assume that she has like some kind of degree. She has patience
Matteo.
and like science and stuff.
She's got to be in.
I mean, I don't know. I just remember her looking at literally like, it's so funny because it's like, you know, Governor Tarkin, and she's like, oh, that'll be great. I'm like, really, the guy who blew up Alderaan? Like, I don't think you know, like, no. Like, I don't think that you would use Star Wars action figures. That's
Is
like
anyone
being
else-
we're going to use the Dark Phoenix from X-Men.
I'm surprised that you had such like masculine action figures. Actually,
You know, that's the thing is like growing up, I was a mix of like, yeah, super. I mean, of course, my favorite was like the women.
love it.
But I had X-Men action figures. I collected Star Wars action figures for a long time.
I bet you were such a cute
Still
little
like 200
kid.
Star Wars action figures. And I collected X-Men cards. Yeah, you know, I mean, that's like, you know, that was the kind of like butch stuff I did when I was a kid.
Right, butching it up. Butching it up.
By the way, we should. I'm just saying, we have like 10 minutes. We should answer some questions.
Oh
Do you
yeah,
want
let's
me to
answer
read
some
them?
questions and we'll do our Patreon. And Henry, when was the last
Okay,
time you had a
so-
boyfriend? By the way, I'm just curious.
What?
When was the last time Henry had a boyfriend?
I broke up with my long-term boyfriend last April, so it's been like a year and a couple months.
Oh, good for you.
Okay, so this one is, what is one of the most horrifying, embarrassing childhood experiences you've had? I
Oh,
once
God.
found a caterpillar in my pubes and have been clean-shaven ever since. So, all right, let's start with Henry. Henry, what's one of the most horrifying, embarrassing childhood experiences?
If that
you've ever
didn't
had?
happen in front of people, though, who cares?
Well, yeah, but still, you know.
Right.
Maybe they found the caterpillar in their pubes like during sex, which would be horrifying.
Especially if they're a
Imagine
kid.
me like, I swear I'm clean. The hungry caterpillar is digging burrows through your pubes.
Oh my god, I can't think of anything right now.
Really?
I've never been embarrassed in my life. I'm confident. No. I guess. Wow.
Oh,
have
in
I
the
blocked
shower.
them all out.
Right.
I might. You might come back to me.
Emma, what's yours?
Oh my God. Okay, the most embarrassing. Okay, I'm just gonna do it like, you know, when someone says like they say a word and then you say the first association with it, like peanut, and then you're like, Mom. The first thing that comes to me when I think most embarrassing story, maybe because I was just talking about it recently, was, well, actually, oh, I'm getting flooded with memories right now. But one is when I was in second grade. And I love to eat salt, and I just always liked salt. And I went to a Waldorf school, and I grew up in Maine, so there was like lots of like road salt around. And I was like going into the Waldorf school, and there was like a big like container of road salt for the driveway. And when I was going in, I like took some pieces and like ate it. And then I like told my teacher, like, because I was like, I don't feel good. And she was like, what's up? And I was like, I like ate some of that salt out there. And they were like, how much? And I was like, 1 piece, maybe 2, which means like more. And they were like, you ate the road salt? And then they were like, we're calling your mother. And then my mom came in and was like, Jesus Christ. Like, what? And they're like, she was like, what did you think it was just? I was like, well, it said salt on it. And then like the bucket says like road salt. And I was like, I don't know. So I had to go home and get my stomach pumped or what, or I think I did. So that
You
was
did?
embarrassing.
What?
Well, it's like poison. It's
my
not good for
God.
you. I didn't have to get like a full on pump. I forget what I had. I did like drink something, throw up, which brings me to another memory when I was over.
Wait, girl, you get one memory.
Oh, okay.
I'm
Should I
kidding.
tell the
Wait,
other one
wait,
another
wait,
time?
You can tell it right now. I'm just joking.
I don't know if that's the most embarrassing. I would think it would be something with pooping my pants, but I can't think of a time. I can't really think of a.
Well, my cousin, he has a story. He like had it. We always went to my cousin Kelly's basketball games to watch them when we were little, and they were always at other schools. And he had to go to the bathroom, and the bathroom door was locked, and so he was like 7 and just shat in front of the bathroom. And
Oh my
left.
God, that's awful.
That's
Wait, that's awful.
a story.
That is so. Oh my God. Okay, so that actually made me think of another one. The first time I got my period, I was at summer camp, and this is like when I was like I was like overweight, so I was really, when I was like big. I don't know if it was like display is because I was like heavier, or if it was I was uncomfortable with my body because I was like, you know, going through puberty. But I always would wear like shorts and a t-shirt at the beach, and I'm at summer camp and we're like out on a boat water skiing, and I realized before I was like, I think I'm gonna get my period. So I took a pad.
No, wait. If it's your first period, did you know that you were gonna get your period, or you're like, oh, I feel weird?
I felt weird, and everyone at the summer camp was like getting their period, so I was like, I bet I'm getting mine. So I put like a pad in my bathing suit, and like not knowing really what I was doing. And then we go out on the water, and a pad absorbs period blood, but it also absorbs fucking water. So then this giant pad is like like there's like all this water in it. So then like when we're on the boat, like it's like just like looked ridiculous. I managed to cover that up though, so no one really noticed, but that was fucking brutal. That was pretty bad. And then one time I got a concussion.
I'm trying to think of like I remember in first grade I threw up like in line in front of everyone all over like my lunch, and then my Aunt Cindy had to come get me.
Wait, is it weird that I think that's cute? Why'd you throw up? I just picture it being cute. Like, what happened?
Because my dad was in the hospital, I think, and everything was fucked up. And so I remember just like, I'm like really nervous.
Was it the coloscopy thing?
Yeah, he was like, he almost died. He got his last rites and everything. Like, it was
really
serious. My mother was like a stick because she was so nervous and scared. And like, at that time anyways, like, I mean, my Aunt Cindy and Uncle Mike were basically raising us, or my grandparents, like my mom was always at the hospital, and it was like scary. And then, so yeah, I think like it must have been because I was like nervous, and I remember waiting in line. Mrs. Crail was my first grade teacher, and I was like, that was her name, and I was like, I think I'm gonna throw up. And then before the words even came out, I just threw up everywhere, and I just cried and cried. And then my Aunt Cindy had to come get me. And
what
then
did people do?
House.
Like, did people say anything to you?
I think they just like felt bad. I mean, you're in first grade, like there's not as much shame,
right?
But you know, like once you hit sixth grade, like you're shamed for everything.
That was that. I kind of got to miss that because I went to a Waldorf school. So then, like the transition from like this like safe little Waldorf school where we like held hands every morning and greeted the sun to then high school was like.
Greeted the sun.
Oh my God, Waldorf schools are hippie. Like you don't wear shoes. Like everyone has to take their shoes off.
What?
Yeah, we like make macaroni and cheese
Italian
as a school.
Do not send their kids to ward off school.
Definitely, no, Waldorf.
You're wearing
Waldorf. This was, you guys will get a kick. This is embarrassing. We had something called I think it was called May Day or May something, and where it would be like we'd like welcome in the spring, and there was a something called a maypole, which whatever. It's just like a giant.
Yeah.
Have you heard of that? And
yeah, it's like a medieval thing.
Yes, it's like a medieval thing, and like everyone would have a piece of ribbon, and the ribbon would be attached to the pole, and the kids would like do like little like synchronized movements, and then they would make like a pattern on the pole. But because of my dyslexia or ADD or whatever, I would like mess up the rhythm and do it wrong, and you couldn't tell while everyone's moving around, but then like the whole thing would be done and there'd be like one ribbon like zigzag, 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 and they'd be like, whose ribbon was that? And then I'd be like holding the like culprit ribbon, and everyone's like, Emma, because like I couldn't be like, I don't know who did it, but it was, I fucked up the whole goddamn maypole. All you were supposed to do is go up and down and up and down, and somehow I'd like skip people and like get confused. So it'd be like this like beautiful pattern maypole, and then this one like, what the fuck? I'm like,
Well, I think we should end this episode because I gotta save my voice before.
Okay, yes, and then we can do our Patreon.
140 people tonight.
You're gonna be great.
Yeah, we're gonna do the rest. We're going to do the rest on our Patreon, so make sure you join our Patreon. I made a bunch of Shark Tank videos.
Yay!
So it was like over my Barbara impression. It was like 3 solid minutes of me just doing Barbara.
And we're almost up to our 100 Patreon, so then we're going to start reviewing like dating apps, which is going to be really, really fun. I would love it if we get enough Patreon people to have like a private Patreon show. Like that would be like a dream. That would be really, really fun to do.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
That would be so great. Yeah, so check that out.
Should we make merch? Should we make T-shirts like
I
with
would
our face on it?
I think that would be so fun. Or like if we could do something with like like the Barbara, or like our faces or something. I just think that would be, I don't know. I think it'd be really fun. I would wear it.
All right.
I'm sure my dad would get one. So.
Yeah, and my mother would get one.
Yeah.
Everyone in my family would wear it.
Perfect.
All right. Well,
thank you guys.
Fun.
And where can people find Henry?
Make sure you watch our Netflix specials August 31st.
August 31st. Yep. And Henry, where are you online? Are you online?
Oh, my Instagram is my full name at Henry Koperski, HenryKoperski. Thank you very much.
Of course. Cool. All right. Well, we'll see you guys on the Patreon.